Okay guys, welcome again to Abgp3nat channel. Edisi, the art of extreme music SG. Today, I'm here somewhere in Bukit Panjang area.
Yep.
Together with
Jeanette today.
Jeanette, yeah, of SONIQUE, the
Yay.
all girls punk band from the 90s.
Yeah.
And anyway, thanks for making the time.
No lah, happy to.
do
I
this,
mean, always want to support kind of like DIY, like
cool.
on endeavors and
Punk
things like
attitude,
that. Yeah, must.
Okay guys, so today we're gonna talk about this vinyl which was recently released last month
Yeah, last month
by
actually.
Basement Records.
Yeah.
So before we start, can you tell us a brief history of the band?
Of the band.
How you guys get together?
Okay, first, in 1992, I first got into the scene around 1992. And then I was playing in an indie band with Topet from, what's that, Disco Biscuit.
Okay.
And that was before Disco Biscuit was born, I think. Yeah, and then we were playing in a band, and it was an indie kind of like shoegaze.
How
type
old
band.
were you back then?
I was maybe like 16, 15,
Okay,
16. Yeah,
that's
16 lah maybe. And then after that, I left the band, and Lynn, who was from this other band with Norman, who is also from Disco Biscuit,
Okay.
actually, yeah. So she left his band or their band, which was Brunette Fubar, and then she said like, oh, I want to do this like all girl punk band, you know,
cool.
because she was a skinhead, you know,
Okay.
skin girl, and I was like, punk? She's like, yeah, just come join me,
So
you know.
only the two of you
Yeah, no, she already had a drummer, was
Okay.
Siti. She already had Ayu. Ayu was the singer, and she already said like, okay, you will play, you will sing, and then Siti was already a drummer lah. So she met Siti somehow, and then after that she told me like, okay, you come and join my band, and you are gonna play the bass. I was like, I don't know how to play the bass. She like,
Then what
never
you play?
mind. She said, our point where you just play.
Okay.
So that's how I learned to play the bass. I guess I knew a few chords because my friends, I mean, they all like learn how to, they all played like in bands and all that. And I would look at them, and sometimes they would show me how a few chords. But I wasn't an instrumentalist at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a singer previously.
Oh, before that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the band that was before that I was with Topet in was called Cherry Wax, and I was just singing all the way. I knew nothing about
So
instruments.
what's the major influence during that time?
During that time, for me first, as a newcomer to the scene, was like shoegaze stuff, My Bloody Valentine, Curve, you know, and all of this, Daisy Chainsaw, and grunge, of course. I was a big grunge head. Yeah, those were the years, right? Yeah. But before that, I was like, you know, into like light metal lah, like rock, you know, Guns N' Roses, and Soundgarden, you know. So then, so then when I got into Psychosonic, and then Psychosonic was like all about the UK 82 exploited type punk, which I knew nothing about. I was like, well, The Clash, only the thing I knew was like The Clash. Yeah, I just follow.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it was generally easy to, as a bass player, to play along to punk music. So that was how I got my start.
Okay.
And even now, as I'm in my shoegaze band, I've been in Estrel for a very long time, more than 20 years. It's still very my bass playing is still very punk like
Till now,
till now.
Okay.
Never change, never improve also.
Okay. No comment.
Same answer. Never mind.
Okay.
Put a lot of reverb, put a lot of overdrive, it's fine. But yeah, so then we played, and we were around for about 5 or 6 years. We started in 93. So Psychosonic was started in 93.
And
then we
the
played.
name?
Psychosonic the name was actually taken from this band called Transvision Vamp. It's a UK kind of like pop, slightly punk band, and they were always on the Top of the Pops, the TV show. Yeah. And they had this song called Psychosonic Cindy. So my friend said, hey, let's call ourselves Psychosonic Cindy. So let's call you Psychosonic Cindy. She was not part of the band. Her name is Marnie, but she was always with us. Then we were like, oh, but the name Psychosonic Cindy is very, very long. So let's just call it Psychosonic. But now thinking back, of course, Psychosonic is a bit strange because it really means just crazy sounds, which is like quite lame. But young lah, you know, we did it all right.
Those days,
That's right. And then so that's how we got the name. But you know, we made one demo. I think that was in 1995. So after a while, and we wanted to do this split EP, split demo with Obstacle Upsurge. That was our sister band, you know, because we were at the same time coming up together. They were the first all-girl hardcore band. We were the first all-girl punk band. We thought it would be great, but somehow it didn't work out. So we only had 5 songs because we thought, oh, 5 songs on side A, then another 5 songs on side B for Obstacle Upsurge or whatever, right? They were like, oh no, we don't have enough songs. Okay lah, both sides same songs. So that's how we.
How's the response of the demo?
Yeah, I mean, it was sold out, and I mean, even now people still have the demo.
People still asking about this also.
Yeah, exactly. And this was sold out too, which is great.
Okay.
I mean, on our end, I put up the order form, and I only had 50, and it was sold out within 6 hours.
Wow.
So it was, I was very, very surprised.
And I'm one of those lucky one to get this.
And I had a friend who ordered 2. Then people scolded me, hey, why you take 2? Other people.
Some people like jealous when I post in TikTok and say, oh, jealous.
But there's a repress coming out, purple vinyl.
Okay, so how many copy?
I think another 100, But this Basement Records is in Malaysia, so I think, you know, there might be more that will be sold in Malaysia than in Singapore. It depends on what the supply or the demand is like. But there will be 100 both across the causeway and here.
Okay. So during your Sonic days, you can share us any good memories or bad memories through your gigs, maybe playing in local and in Malaysia.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so many good memories, and even the bad memories are just things that are like, wow, we cannot believe this happened to us. You know, I mean, obviously, and unfortunately, a lot of it is because we were all girl. We were an all girl band. I like to think that that. I mean, clearly we're not the best players. You know, our instrumentation was like, well, but I think Lynn, who is the guitarist and the leader of the band, wrote really good songs. You know, and if you see like the back of this, the songs are like 1 minute. 2 minutes. Yeah. The longest song is 2 minutes and 49 seconds.
So most of the songs she wrote.
Most of the songs she wrote. Okay. But I wrote one song with Fauzia, which is I Don't Give a Damn, which is 1 minute and 1 minute and 3 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, wow, this is the first song I ever wrote in my life. But yeah, so she wrote really good, kind of like very melodic, very catchy and anthemic songs. So I guess we played like that first gig that you told me that you were there.
The first gig I attended was many of us don't know what to expect from you girls. So suddenly when you guys start to play, wow, everything's erupt and total chaos. The crowd, they really enjoyed the show.
Yeah, that was great. And I think like even though people didn't kind of like understand or know what we were about, there was a lot of enthusiasm for us, which was great. So that gig was at Substation, and that was our first proper gig. We had actually played at a pub before. In the past, a lot of bars were called pubs. I think it was called Vintage Pub, and I think we played there, and it was just like maybe 1 or 2 songs just to test out, and then we played the first proper show at that show that you went to, which was at the Substation. I don't remember what it's called, but it was really nerve-wracking because there were a lot of punks, and we were playing an evening, like night show, and my parents were there. And I know, and of course they also didn't know what to expect. But my mom was always very supportive. She would drive me to jamming studios, and then all of that. Like she never said like, oh, what kind of stupid music you play. So she was there at the side, quite in the front. And then my cousin, who thought that, my cousin is just playing in a little band, let's go and see. And she was standing outside, she didn't buy tickets. She stood on top of a car.
From outside you can watch.
But she stood on top of her car, don't know which car. And then she saw, like, as soon as we played the first few chords, the whole floor started to erupt, and then there was moshing and slam dancing.
Before the band
Before
of
the
slam.
band, yeah. It was just a few months before the band
Yeah, correct.
came into effect. Our famous slam dancing band of Singapore. And then afterwards, my mom was like, "Oh my god!" And then she went to the back. She was like, "What's this?" She had never encountered anything like this before. But of course, she was very excited, and she was like, "Whoa, this is so cool." And I don't know if my memory serves me right. I remember there was a small tiny tree in the middle of the substation garden, and like people like they kind of like climbed on it and it fell. I don't know. There was just like a lot of chaos, and we didn't know what to expect. And also like in the past, there was no such thing as personal space, you know. So we were playing. People came up, take photo.
You're right.
Right.
Because no guards, no
Yeah, no
security,
guards, right.
nobody. Just everybody can.
Yeah, they just came up. I was playing bass. Somebody took photo with me, like like this, and there's no photos of
If
us.
nowadays they will selfie with you.
Yeah. It's so funny, and so that was such a good memory, and what a way to debut ourselves into the scene. And you know, then after that, soon after we played we were invited to JB. I think it was JB or KR, I don't know, to record. And this was the recording for Alternative Connection, which is a compilation, and the cover is very iconic. It's this boy, I don't know where they found this picture. Clearly, it's not copyright. So they ignore the copyright. There's a little boy with a small mohawk, like a baby almost, showing the middle finger. And it said on the side of the CD, Alternative Connection. It had some Malaysian bands. It had also Voice Out. And then it had Psychosonic, of course. And then we played, I think we recorded like 2 or 3 songs on that. And then later we came back to KL to do, Joe Kid invited us, the legendary Joe Kid invited us to play at Psycho Agogo gig in KL. And it was so amazing, that gig, for several reasons. First, it was like, whoa, we had never played to so many people before. It was this big.
How many crowd you think?
2,000 about. Yeah.
Wow.
And
awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And like now, even when I meet people who were there, they said like they had never seen such a big crowd before, or like they never expected that so many people.
You guys were lucky to play in that crowd, right?
Yeah.
That big crowd.
And we were like, oh my god, when we came, we were so nervous. And to make it worse,
Worse, huh?
were Nazi punks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the nationalist Nazi punks. I mean, which is weird, right? It's Nazi, but you're punk. It's like, what? And then Nazis are like, they would clearly be anti any other minority of the world, right? But anyways, there were Nazi punks who were very nationalist and against anything that was, of course, outside of Malaysia. And so they were like spitting at us. They were throwing bottles. And
there's no security.
And I think there was, but they tried to tell them, hey, stop, but they were very, very aggressive. And my memory is not that great because I just don't sleep a lot, so I don't remember a lot of things. But it was like we were almost not able to play because of the violence that was kind of like.
You guys play in the last set?
I don't even remember, but I think so.
Okay.
And then it was just so many people. It's so chaotic. People on the stage and all also. And then other people were shouting at the Nazi punks to stop it because if they didn't stop, we couldn't play. And my guitarist was very angry, and she's like this little skinny girl who's very dark, you know. So then she wanted to take the mic stand and whack.
You guys can't focus.
Yeah, we couldn't even start playing, and she wanted to take the mic stand and jump in and just whack. I was like, hey, stop. And then so then they managed to calm the Nazi punks down for a while. Then apparently we played like 2 songs and we couldn't finish our set, and then we had to stop. Yeah, so it wasn't even a show that we finished, but so many people remembered it, and like it was so iconic, and then we had to be escorted out. Yeah. And because people were like, that was like either people were like, hey, or like they wanted to beat us.
Of course.
So it was either
2,000 over crowd.
Yeah.
Wow.
Either they were but the Nazi punks were very, very small only, just one, maybe like 5, 7 of them. But there were a lot of other people who were very supportive. Yeah, but they were super violent. So the other people were telling them to stop, and then and it just continued, and then in the end we couldn't play, and then we had to be escorted out because the Nazi punks were following us also. But there were also people who were cheering us on, following us, so we had to be escorted out. I never gone through an experience like that
So
before.
since that day, the name Psychosonic in Malaysia, how do you think it goes?
I think I mean, it's like we were written about in the paper, but of course because Joe Kidd had his column in a newspaper called Blasting Concept, and he wrote about it, and there are still images of that article somewhere on the internet, and so it's really nice. I think from the response we got, it was like we got a lot of people writing to us for interviews on zines, had like fan mail, like
Any radio station?
Radio station, yeah, in Singapore. Malaysia, no. Yeah, but I mean, like last time the radio station is, yeah, we didn't have like Spotify type podcast.
Not like nowadays.
Yeah, not like now we can do this.
Yeah.
Which is such a way.
Just use handphones can settle.
Yeah, exactly. So in the past there was a lot of writing, and sometimes they write to me in
Snail letters.
Bahasa Melayu. Then I had to send
Snail letter.
Yeah, snail lah. Then I ask Lin because Lin or City, because I
Malaysian, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's like, I don't know. But also on that day, after when we were escorted out, I was molested. I was sexually assaulted.
Wow.
Somebody grabbed my ass as we were walking out, being escorted.
Wow.
And I turned around and I was like, but there were so many people I didn't know who, and I just grabbed the first person. I was like, "Is that you?" I just grabbed it.
Yeah, can be anybody.
Anybody, but his face looked a bit like that. But also maybe because I was shouting.
Yeah.
And then like the Nazi punks was following us in, and we were like,
really?
And then like the door closed on the lift, and then like it was quite scary.
Really like superstar, you guys, huh?
Yeah.
Rockstar. Everybody chasing you guys.
Yeah. But it was like, and from different perspectives.
Yeah, of course.
But also, also back to the gig at Psycho Agogo, we had these punks from Malaysia who had the real spikes. The Nazi punks had those really sharpened spikes. And then our punks had the studs that were not so sharp. Because in Singapore, I think at that time you couldn't get them studs. Yeah. And there was no clear reason why we couldn't, except that maybe the government, like when you were not allowed to import these things, because we quite a repressed society.
Can be a weapon.
Yeah, exactly. They always say like could be a weapon, right? And so when our punks went to the gig, Psycho Agogo gig, and then saw the Nazi punks with all the spikes, and they were kind of like around the mosh pit, waiting for the Singaporean punks to come and mosh. Then our Singaporean punks were like, "Oh my God, we're gonna die because it's so sharp." But I love that, it shows the different, how authoritarian our state is, right? Yeah. That even through the dress, we were not allowed to fully express that punkness and that aggression, because there are things that the authorities would say like, "Hey, this can be crafted into a weapon."
Even slam dancing.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So yeah, slam dancing was a good one. But I mean, of course, we found ways around it.
Yes.
Or got arrested. Yeah, so then that was really fun. And then the next year or something, again, my memory is very bad, we were invited back to KL to play a gig. And this was an all-girl gig, or bands that are girl-fronted. And that was, we were really excited about this gig. There were many Malaysian bands like Sinead O' Mine that we were so excited to go and see, I had the demo already, I think, or a few tracks of Sinead O' Mine. I was so excited to go and see. But for some reason, there were people, we don't know who didn't want us to play there. I don't know who lah, but anyhow, maybe blame the Nazi punks.
Okay lah, maybe from that group.
Maybe that group, right? So we were reported to the authorities, and when we arrived, it was made known that we couldn't play. The authorities in Malaysia said that we didn't have the license, and that somebody who reported us said that we were bosia and haram. So at that time, there were this category of girls that were named derogatory as bosia. you know, because it's a very you know, they wanted to oppress women, and they wanted to say
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, a type of women that are loose or whatever is termed bosia. You know, and or dress very provocatively. We were like, whatever, man.
Yeah, lah, whatever lah.
Yeah, and we were not allowed to play. So, and I didn't understand what the word haram meant at that time. So I had to ask my bandmates, you know, it's a cultural thing and a religious thing. And they said like, it's stupid lah. Obviously, we're not haram, you know. We should play in a punk band.
Exactly,
And they just wanted to
these
say that we
people,
were,
they
and
just
that
don't
we
want you
were
guys to play lah.
immoral.
Ah,
And so we couldn't play, but I mean, we just took it in our stride and said like, hey, wow, we made it lah.
yeah.
People,
They
want us
know
to
you.
remember. Yeah.
They know you. Your names are big there.
I know, right? So we almost played the second time, but didn't.
Wasted lah,
So Psychosonic didn't really play one full set in Malaysia at all. But who knows? Wonder.
Yeah, maybe a reunion with this release.
Yeah, that's right.
You will not.
But I mean, it's nice that, you know, this release is by a Malaysian record. So, you know, we've in the past, in the 90s and the early 2000s, we had such a tight relationship with Malaysian scene.
Yeah, still now.
Right? Yeah, still now. Yeah, especially the metal scene.
Yeah,
right?
still now.
Yeah,
We
so
still
that's
have
really nice.
good connection.
Yeah, I don't know about the punk scene now because I'm not that involved.
Same,
with it.
same.
as well.
Absolutely.
That's nice, man. Yeah, so Singapore and Malaysia, forever.
Yeah. So okay, let's talk about this vinyl.
Yay.
Okay. When the Basement Record inform you that they are interested to release this vinyl.
Yeah. They informed me, so it's Shamir Marov.
Shout out to
Shamir! Shamir 10 years ago.
Wow, 10 years ago.
2015, yeah.
Oh, okay, that very long.
I know. And then he said like, oh, I want to do this. I was like, yeah, okay, great, let's do it. But no rush. I was like, okay, yeah, sure, fine. And then I think he fell ill for a bit, and then COVID came and this and that. So then when it came around again, we were like, yeah, let's just do this and, you know, do it for real. And then you know, we had people who really wanted over the years, like kept asking, you know, and also, you know, Faisal from Vanilla Thunder Records had put out a lathe cut for archival purposes of our tracks, and he managed to find quite a lot of it as well. Most of it which I lost already, and these
So you didn't keep any of your demos?
only demo tape, but like I don't have a tape player.
Oh, okay, only the tape only lah.
Yeah.
For memories.
Yeah, and I have some CDs, like maybe from what is it? There's an Pony Canyon had put out this compilation called No Excuse for Sexism.
Okay.
And Estrel, my band, before I was in Estrel, was in it. Psychosonic was in it. You know, and then there was bands like forget already.
Never mind lah. Never mind.
Yeah, there were other indie bands that were, you know, of note.
That was long
were
ago.
indie us. Yeah, so some of the tracks were from there. Some of the tracks were from the Alternative Connection.
Okay.
Yeah, so compilations here and there.
Okay.
And then, but those that were not on the CD, that were on the demo tape, we lost the master tapes. And so they were ripped from source at the tapes. So some of it, as you they are the 90s kind of low-fi
yes.
vibes.
You spin it, you know, it sounds from the 90s.
Yeah, from the 90s, yeah. But I mean, that's just how it is.
That
you
raw
know.
sound you get.
Yeah. And then on top of that, we rip from the tape as well. So like even more degraded. But you know, it's just the way it is, and you know, we didn't
but the
foresee.
sound actually okay lah.
It's okay, yeah, that's great. Because I don't know about these things. To me, it sounds okay, but it really takes you back to the 90s lah, to put it nicely.
Yeah. So the cover, can you talk about the cover?
Oh yeah, the cover actually. The thing about this is that we have the liner notes have no images. I'm really sorry, because again,
you
it's like
should
photos.
put photos, all gigs, pictures, all
Yeah,
that.
but
It's
in
much
the
more
90s,
nicer.
yeah, but in the 90s, you don't really have many photos. And of Psychosonic, I only received like one album of our photos just like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah, and by then this was release ready, you know. And I don't even have photos of ourselves playing in gigs, and I don't have photos of the 5 of us. The original Psychosonic
Maybe
band is
from the
5 of
fans.
us. The fans, yeah, also like very few, and even if they have, it's like scanned images.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or they, you know, and they were very, very low resolution that I could not be able to put this at 300 dpi or even 150. And when
Okay.
they print out, it will be very pixelated or like very blurry.
So I also wonder why
Yeah.
you guys never put all these pictures.
Yeah, so
It's a good memory,
unfortunately,
yeah.
we couldn't. Yeah, so
So the cover, what?
the cover actually is me playing my Flying V bass, which I didn't have when I was playing my Psychosonic.
And the
But
Valentine?
yeah, Valentine, yeah. So Valentine is a track in our in this release, and Valentine is one of the latest songs. But yeah, we thought it would be really nice, or I thought it would be really nice to call it Valentine.
So this is you,
Yeah, this is me. That's my legs.
your legs.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So okay lah, I'm quite nondescript enough to be Psychosonic, but okay, at least me lah, you know what I mean.
So, okay.
So the tracks.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean
10
like
tracks, total
yeah,
10
10 tracks, and the rest of the tracks didn't sound like they would make good album names. Like Lick and Suck, no. And then what?
No comment.
All I want, no lah, not nice. I'm gonna crash.
Mine are your younger days or old
Yeah lah,
days?
younger days.
Oh.
The lyrics, oh my god.
Okay.
But yeah, so
All these are
we
taken
called
from
it-
your demos.
Yeah, so demo, I'm gonna crash is not from demo. I don't even remember which one is from demo. I think Valentine was from demo. I'm not sure actually. I don't know. But yeah, I Don't Give a Damn was
Okay.
probably from demo.
So you think all these songs out, you
Yeah.
think which is the main song? If you listen, you know, okay, this is Psychosonic.
Yeah.
The strong
the
song.
strongest.
Yeah.
I think for sure I'm gonna crash, and I Don't Give a Damn, which I wrote with Fozia because
I like the I Don't Give a Damn.
because I
It's
guess
more,
it's so punk, right? I Don't Give a Damn.
Yes.
But also, you know,
It stands out when I
yeah,
listen, it stands
it's
out.
like
yeah.
it's easy for everybody.
Yeah,
to sing along,
exactly.
But I think the strongest song is, you know, I'm Gonna Crash, because it's very well written, and it's written by Lynn, who is the main songwriter of the band, and it's a love song, and but you know, it's a love song about and about self-destruction, and you know, it's a love that kind of like
Love stories.
will never make will never happen, like never end well, because both in this love will kind of like destroy each other.
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah, so that's
So,
I think these two
the song
songs
and
are
the
what we're
lyrics
known
also,
for.
she the
yeah,
one
she
who
wrote. Yeah, I think these two songs are what we are known for. Yeah, but I mean, listening back, sometimes I forget like, oh, we had this song. Listening back, there are a lot of the songs. So
normal. That was 30 plus.
yeah, I was like,
Years
oh, hey,
ago.
not bad, this song.
Okay. So, let's see what we have.
The liner notes.
Yeah. Okay, about this, what
Yeah.
can you say?
So this one is I wrote this for Psychosonic. So it's about our kind of like early days, and we hung out at TNT Music Studio. Did you hang out at TNT?
No.
No. So we hung out at TNT, and that's how I got into the scene.
Okay.
And I knew
like,
everybody.
It tells the story, how you guys get to know each other.
Yeah, correct. And then later Forum Galleria and all of
So
that.
then this
This one is Shamir, who is the owner of Basement Records, and why he wanted to do this release. And he talks about the first time he saw us, which was in the Malaysian gig, the Psycho Agogo gig. And it's really nice to read, you
Yes.
know, what he wrote. And it made me go like, oh,
Yeah, but wasted. There's no picture.
I know.
It should come with pictures.
Mystery. But yeah, so I designed these.
This.
Yeah, all of the whole thing. And you know, I wanted it to look kind of like have that DIY punk kind of photocopied aesthetic with was this kind of stencil vibe. And this was actually a real you know, I typed it out and then I've printed it out and I crumpled it. So I wanted that kind of real tactile look to this.
That feel, you want to have that feel. When
yeah,
you
the
see
zine kind of vibe, you know,
How about
to
this?
hark back to that time.
Okay, the vinyl release in black.
Yeah, this one is in black. The next one is in translucent purple.
So the next one, what can you say about the next release? To those who never get this,
To those who didn't get this, faster go and get the Chop, the next release, which is purple vinyl, which goes very well with the colors, of course. Yeah, I wanted a kind of a zebra kind of look. But yeah, the next one is the same tracks and all.
All the same, only the vinyl color.
Only the vinyl color.
Okay.
Yeah.
When
Mid-September is around the time we will release it. Yeah.
Okay. So for those who never buy all this vinyl, in media social, where can they listen?
Social media,
to you guys?
I think we will put out MP3s. Are they still MP3s? MP4s?
Maybe in
or like a wave format or whatever.
any media social,
Yeah.
maybe like Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify. I have to figure out how to do that because I'm not online. Yeah, we'll put it on Spotify, I guess. Yeah, and there are people who didn't buy it but bought the t-shirts and
Tote bag.
the tote bag. Yeah, I won't do the t-shirts again because it's like such a pain
Well,
to send out logistics. is
Oh
a pain.
yeah, correct.
But tote bags, yeah, I can do tote bags again. So there will be tote bags. Yeah. Oh, the piece of psychosonic.
So with the release, this with this release,
Yeah.
you guys thinking of maybe do a reunion, maybe play 1-2 shows.
The thing is, Lynn lives in Australia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she's lived in Australia for a very, very long time, and that's why we haven't had a reunion of sorts. Yeah, and so I guess it might be a bit difficult, unfortunately, because we gotta practice and all of that. I don't know if my
after
drummer,
so long, yeah, really.
and I don't know if my drummer has been a musician, during this time or not, or like she's practiced her drums.
But you guys still keep in touch,
Yeah, we still hang out, and I still hang out with the old crew, the Psychosonic crew, who are our best friends who hang out with us, who are not part of the band. I'm actually going to see
Supporter
them
of the
this
band,
Friday again.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, and it's always nice to just like be together,
Yeah, true.
Yeah, and these are people that I grew up with, and they taught me so much, and
Our teenage days,
yeah, I know.
So you've been talking about the forming of the band. How about the ending of the band?
The ending of the band was just, I guess at that time we just didn't play that much really.
That was in late 90s?
Yeah, I think 98,
98,
yeah, 97, 98 like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I had joined Astral, the shoegaze band, pioneering shoegaze band, and I thought like, we hardly play, so let's just take a break lah, and then and then Lynn moved to Australia.
Then now become 30 over years already.
Yeah.
The break of
The break very long, right?
Very long.
Yeah. I don't know if we said like, hey, we're going to break up. Yeah, we might have, but also I think we didn't have new songs and we didn't jam so much.
Maybe
So from
along-
5 we became 3 in about 96, 93, 94, 95, 96 like that. And then after that, the three of us.
I mean
just like-
the steam no more there already.
Yeah,
Start to mellow down.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if like during that time, the first wave of punk was of course Opposition Party. But then they turned thrash metal very quickly, right? But there wasn't a scene at the time in 1986.
Very quiet, yeah.
No, but in 1986, when they started Opposition Party, there was not really a scene for punks. It was just them, right?
Yeah.
Then after that,
They
the
become
second
thrash,
wave, Then the second wave, then there was like Minus, and then Psychosonic, and then there was zines. So there was like a proper scene. Then after that, maybe in 97, like that, I don't know, it feels like punk maybe died a bit. I don't know, maybe I wasn't
from
there.
there onwards.
Yeah.
You guys to think again, whether to continue or not.
Yeah, so we're like, I don't know. Yeah, so I guess, so it kind of like just teetered out.
So can I say that Psychosonic plays a part in Singapore history?
I'm very proud to say that, we did create something.
Yes.
And even we would get on stage and we would be cheered, but also booed.
Part of
Part of like,
part of it.
if you were not booed as a band, And but you know, because we were girls, we were catcalled a lot also. You know, like hey, you know things like that. Yeah, and like which were horrible. But now you know people don't do that anymore, and I like to think that is because us and Obstacle Upsurge made it easier for girls to be on stage. You know, like that it became a normal thing that there's no point being catcalling somebody anymore. You know, because it's like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah,
you know, yeah. So and also like I'm also proud to say that, you know, I made zines and our band was, you know, actively being in part of the scene, not just, you know, making music. We were I organized like an all-girl gig as well, and just to contribute back to the scene, like, you know. So I think, you know, in some way we did help and pave the way for
because
other
nowadays
bands.
if you say SONIQUE, many of us know.
Yeah, the older people.
Of course lah, the older one, not the younger one. Maybe the younger one, after watching this, they will look for your music. Hopefully,
and then they can buy the second.
So what do you think? DIY music back then compared to now?
I think, you know, it was. I mean, it's
like nowadays you can produce music from the bedroom.
Yeah.
Back then was.
But
different.
even with Estril, for our second album, which was Fragments of the Same Dead Star, we also produced in the bedroom. So this was in early 2000s. So during that time was the age of the bedroom musician really. But now I think it's even easier because you can publish it and you have Bandcamp and you have Spotify.
The media platform are very wide.
Yeah, exactly. But also because it's so easy, it might be more difficult also, because you know you have to compete with these other people who are more driven, who might have like this, you know, a whole social media campaign thing going on. And do you have that or not? And I don't know, like now I'm still with Estril, right? We cannot be bothered with.
Old school,
maybe because we're older, we're like, we deal hand to hand, like you know, if I buy, there are some of these products that, you know, the Psychosonic ones, I go and meet my friends and say, hey, here's the one that you ordered. You know what I mean? It's still that kind of thing.
Yeah, the connection we have.
Yeah, so if you sell on media, social media and online, there is that distance.
Yeah, correct. They just listen, but they didn't get to meet the.
Yeah, and like yesterday, my band played at the Big O 40th Anniversary Festival. There are people who bought our things online and then came to meet us to say, hey, you know, we bought your t-shirt, or we bought your music, or we listened to you on Spotify. So it's still that meeting people who like your music at physical events. That's really nice, you know.
True.
Yeah, I mean, we don't do like Zoom live or whatever.
That one no show.
Don't know what to say. Like, hey guys, so but I guess, you know, it's easier now, but it's also difficult. So in the past, it's quite real, because when you make your zine, you sell it, you know. And in the early days, there were no merch tables. We just take from our tote bag. Hey, you want my $2 zine? Yeah. And then, you know, you meet and then you talk about the things that you wrote about, and they see who you are. And you know, you presenting as a punk, the performance of your punk is also a very real thing. You know what I mean? So I feel like it was a bit easier that time, because you do go out to meet the people that you buy and sell, but also people hold you to a higher standard. I feel like, hey, you sell out, you know, there was a lot of that. Like if you like eat McDonald's because we're hungry and no money, right? Then like, hey, you sell out. Then you're like, oh man, I got caught. Well, you know, which is, there's a lot of gatekeeping, right? There's a lot of like, hey, you went out the boundaries, which I love, which I also hated, because you cannot mess up. Right?
Must jaga.
Yeah. So I guess, you know, it's very different. But I had a lot of fun in those days.
Of course lah. It's good memory.
We grew up in a very different. So yeah, I had fun.
The good memories, the good, the bad.
Yeah. Last time our gigs, how much did they pay the tickets for? $5.
$6.
Yeah, right. Now it's like $30 because they rent actual venues. And, you know,
and have to pay bands.
Yeah, that's why.
No more free.
Last time free,
last time free. You can play. Can lah.
Oh, remember we had to pay the deposit, the slam dancing band deposit. Then like the bands have to pay $50. We're like, oh, we jam, we pay for jamming, we still got to pay deposit.
That's why so much different.
Yeah.
Last time and nowadays. Oh.
And we were so poor back then. Like, wear the same clothes all the time. Then still have to pay a deposit.
Pangma.
Yeah lah, no choice.
Oh. Okay lah. Any last words for my viewers?
Last words.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. And you know, it was such an awesome time to be a part of that I never take for granted. And hopefully, you know, I can be a part of the scene in other ways. I'm doing actually the Singaporean Punk Archive. So, you know, I'm looking for, if you can, you know, dig up your material of punk stuff that is Singaporean made, you know, it's not like stuff that's from Australia or whatever. You know, Singaporean punk zines, local zines from the 1990s to the early 2000s, you know, so I'm putting this bracket of that time because, as you know, Singaporean things degrade very easily due to humidity and mold.
Yeah, really.
So I want to do a website of this archive of images, which I will take photos of very nicely and properly. And you know, if you have any side zip jackets, the punk leather jackets, or your jeans that had the patches, or zines, or commonly here known as zines, you know, or like show posters, flyers, ticket stubs of like shows that we all went to. I would love to borrow them, and I would take very good care. And I already have like almost 500 images of, you know, all these artifacts, and I want to put them online so that, you know, we can use them as references in the future. People can look back, and you know, we all can go back in and look at what we put out. Yeah,
in the 90s, huh?
Yeah, we did in the 90s because these are valuable cultural products, even though
historic.
Yeah, historic, you know, even though they may not be seen as that by perhaps established institutions, but to us, they were cultural products. And I want to put them together so that we have access to them, and future punks can reference them, not just Singaporean punks, but, you know, punks from overseas. People might think that Singapore is such a small country. Was there a punk scene? Oh, hell yes, there was a punk scene, right? So I think, you know, since I have the space and time to do it as part of my PhD, I want to be able to do it properly and to represent the scene properly. So if you have any, please contact me, and I promise to take care of it. It will be in the aircon room all day.
How they gonna contact you?
So they can contact me at Jeanette Chittick. So it's GINETTECHITTICK@gmail.com. So please contact me there, and I will come to you and collect your artifacts, your items, and take good care of them and photograph them in a proper studio and everything, and then return them to you. And
Like a museum, huh?
It's like, yeah, it's an online museum, but the way I take care of it, of course, it's like a museum as well, you know. And I know that it's very precious, all your things, and I will respect them and make sure that they are photographed very beautifully. So yeah, let me know. And I would love to expand the Singaporean Punk Archive, and I'm designing it already together with Johan from I Am David Sparkle is a wonderful designer. He's designing how it looks, and I'm curating and creating the site architecture and everything. So hopefully it can be up by the end of the year. If my studies go well, end of the year, hopefully, yeah. And then everybody can have access to it. Yeah.
Okay lah. That's all lah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Gina. Just a small token. Just a sticker of.
Abang penat ah?
Yeah, of course.
Penat? Why you penat?
Nowadays, as I get older, very tired.
Looks exactly like you.
Okay, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. Thanks a lot for watching this, and thanks again to Jeanette for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, guys. Till then, thanks for watching Abgp3nat. Peace be upon you.
Peace out. Like that.
And keep the burning flames alive. Okay, thanks.
Hey, thanks so much.
I need to sign my where?
Nice like your sticker, so cute.
This.
What is this? A skull?
No, Star Wars.
Stop.
Star Wars.
You like Star Wars?
What to do? We grow with this.
Hey, yeah, this one is Star Wars thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
you
this
can
one I
please
know.
sign for me. Thanks.
Hey.
Thank you so much.
This one what? Wait,
Thank you so much, Janet.
Okay.
Oh, lama cantik.
Alright. I sign as Sonic or sign as Jeanette?
Up to you lah.
Oh, okay.
Both also can lah.
Both okay.
Big,
Let's see.
big, do big.
Yeah.